Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Sunset Gower studio in Hollywood, California with UBN Radio TV, Universal Broadcasting Network. And then every Thursday on my syndicated CNBC, NBC News radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, and FM 106.5, and everywhere on iHeartRadio. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And so I have guests that come and talk about that, from Fran Drescher, who talks about how to reduce our risk of cancer, to Marianne Williamson, to Marianne from Gilligan's Island, to Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter. Just inspiring. And if you missed any of those shows, it's okay. You can just go on YouTube, free subscribe, and take a listen. Great podcasts there, free for you to enjoy. And if you do enjoy them, please subscribe and give me the finger on Dr. Marissa on Facebook. And you can follow me at Doc Balance on Instagram and Dr. Marissa Pay on Twitter. So I'm all over the place. And I want to start with peace in, peace out shout outs to all the fabulous folks I met this week. First, speaking on the Power Team stage at the Hyatt LAX, thanks Nicole Taylor and Bill Walsh for the invite. Great audience there, and other speakers, including the Kiss the Monkey Gang, who have been loving me up on Facebook, and then to Jeffrey and Danny, who will be guests of mine in July from the Abilities Rehabilitation Center, and then to Kathleen Choi and the team at Asian Voices, who were fabulous, taping myself and my twin Keiko Matsui for highlighting season 3 of Asian Voices. And it was a fabulous time. Brett gave us this gorgeous house that used to be, that is the CEO of 7-Eleven, overlooking the ocean. You can take a bath overlooking the ocean. The pictures are great. You have to go on my Facebook to see the pictures. Also, a peace shout out for excellent customer service, because I like to balance out all of the complaining. Jeff at WestJet and Teresa at Innsbruck. Our Lyft driver, Marilyn, and I took a great Lyft drive to Hollywood Bowl with Skylar and Brianna, his mom, who are both big Earth, Wind, and Fire fans. Funny that they should take us to the bowl. And also to a huge shout out to an amazing pioneer, icon, fabulous jazz musician extraordinaire, Ramsey Lewis, who was kind enough to give VIP tickets to Maryland, who was kind enough to invite me along. And so I got to go backstage. He's 83 years young and amazing. He gave, I think, the best performance that day at the Playboy Jazz Festival. Also, a big congratulations to my baby girl, who's really not a baby anymore. She's 18, headed off to UC Davis, graduating on this week, and I'm just so proud of her. So peace in and peace out to you, baby. You are my best little girl in the whole wide world. You will always be Sarah Way Carpenter. All right, and now on to today's very, very special guest. She has spent 46 years with one of the most well-known and well-loved musicians on the planet, Maurice White, founder of the Earth, Wind, and Fire band, and one of my newest dear friends. And she's going to be my boss too, because she asked me to write her book, as told to Dr. Marissa, about her relationship with this amazing man. Please welcome to the studio, Marilyn White.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. And prior to being right here in this chair in your green room, I was meditating, and all of a sudden I saw this amazing light. And remembering what the name of the book is so important. It's all about love.
Beautiful. And that's the name of one of the songs.
Yeah, absolutely. He wrote
Yeah.
that song. It's
Yeah.
all about love. Anyway,
Beautiful. I didn't know what you're channeling Maurice.
well, he's right here with me right
Aw,
now.
that's so
and
nice.
he is approving.
Oh,
He is approving this.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have come together
True.
as it did.
Yeah,
As
it was
did.
magical.
Yeah.
It is magical.
Yeah, really.
And so I thought it would be great to find out how you met Maurice and do it with our first 4 pages that we've completed,
okay.
which kind of really bring to life
Right, a
your
little synopsis.
Yes. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Oh, I can read it, or you can read it. However you want to do it.
I'll
It's your
read it,
show.
and then you take off the rest.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
How's that?
That sounds cool.
Chapter 1.
Okay.
The beginning. For 2 weeks, I would watch him from behind the counter. Actually, it's good I'm reading this so you can get her face while she's remembering. It was not as if he had given me any reason to look for him. His friends would talk to me, but he never said a word. But the first time those eyes locked on mine, a fire lit me up from the inside out. Then the flame would move from his eyes to his mouth, and that smile brought tingles all over my body and ignited a passion that I thought was only an exaggeration from romance novels. And that was how I met Maurice White. It was 1970, and I was married to a hairdresser, Salvador Orafacci, who was as virile as his name and 10 years my senior. And I was miserable. He was not happy, and as a result, he was not a nice man. He was Elvis's hair cutter for a time and would get called over in the middle of the night to do his hair and to do ambars, which are a combination of barbiturates and opioids. Sal would come back with them. They looked like M&Ms, and it was a roller coaster going up and crashing down. He would tell me, have some. And for 10 years, I stayed on his roller coaster. I felt like I was living under a gray cloud that got darker and denser by the year. I didn't know at the time what was wrong with me. I went to the doctors and my vitals were fine. Therapy wasn't popular, so I just stayed gray. I couldn't stand my husband. No one in my family had ever had a divorce, so I was afraid of being called a loser, a quitter. The idea of divorce made the cloud into a full-force thunderstorm, and I was already drowning in the unshed tears of being dead inside. I was 25 when Peggy Lee's song, "Is This All There Is?" struck a chord in my speed-affected heart with a downer realization that I don't want to live like this anymore. I actually got down on my knees and begged God, please, if I'm going to die, kill me now. I can't take this anymore. Or give me a sign if there's a way out. My sign was getting a cashier's job at one of the few vegetarian restaurant stores in the San Fernando Valley called the Organicville. Why vegetarian? In a funny, illogical way, I thought that vegetables might soften up my angry husband. And what a better place to get great vegetarian recipes than a vegetarian store. I remember the moment I came out of an acid trip on July 4th, after seeing the movie 2011, to see my rich friends in the Hamptons ripping apart flesh at a dinner party like barbarians. So that night, my vegetarian strategy was born. My first week on the job started me on a new, different roller coaster, more like a carousel. A group of good-looking young men would come in and have lunch in the restaurant and then saunter over to the store where I'd be waiting to cashier them. Every day, at least 2 of them would come in, Donald Whitehead and Maurice White. Sometimes Yakov would join, and Wade Fellmans, who had been a big hit. Flemons, who had a big hit in the 60s, was a real ladies' man. But I skipped over that moment, the very first time I looked into the soul of Maurice White through his liquid chocolate eyes. The attraction was so strong that we could both feel the earth move. Thank you, Carole King. I tingled and I could feel him vibrating across the aisle. The smile that erupted at that connection is still the best smile I've seen a human being since. And he played it real cool. The other guys would talk to me, but never Maurice. They would always come between 12 and 2. So lunch became the favorite time of day. And Sal would notice that I would got dressed up. What, is your boyfriend coming in the store? Yes, every day he brings me flowers and Jaguars, I would wisecrack back. Then 4 days, no Maurice. I was disappointed. And then on the 5th day, I was standing by the carrots. I remember it as clear as day, and I felt the same electricity tingle even before I turned to see him looking straight at me. Nervously, I said, "Oh, I didn't think you were coming." Smiling that smile, he said through his grin, "Ah, you noticed we were late, did ya?" I kicked myself. Oh, shit, why did I say that? Shoot, why did I say that? Our rehearsal ran a little late. We are musicians. Ah, I thought you were musicians. Really? How did you know? I felt music coming from you. Really? Well, I have my own band. So, are you a vegetarian? Yes. Well, I bet you could teach me a lot. Ha! That's quite a line. No, I mean it. I would like to take you out for dinner. No, I'm sorry. Why? I don't mean tonight, whenever you're free. No, I can't. I'm married. Well, that's okay. You can bring your husband along. I mean, your old man along. Mm-hmm. Ha! I don't think he'd like that. And that was how you met Maurice White.
That is how I met the man.
And then he wooed you.
He did.
And told you that you were his woman.
Told me that he wanted to make me his woman. And I thought, my goodness, that's a whole lot coming from someone I don't even know. Mm-hmm. And then he told me, he said he's been all around the world. He played with Ramsey Lewis. Mm-hmm. Had I ever heard of him? I said, oh, yeah, of course I've heard of Ramsey. He said, oh, so you're into jazz? I said, yeah, absolutely. He said, oh, an L.A. girl into jazz, that's rare. And I said, why is that so rare? I actually took offense, like, what do you know? I said, yeah, I've been into jazz since I was about 13. A dear friend of mine turned me on to Miles Davis, Chet Baker, Jimmy Giuffre, John Coltrane, all of those. Anyway, so he said, well, let me, I really would like to talk to you just for 10 minutes, just for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. He said, does your old man check you in and out? Do you have a time schedule? Do you have to check in and punch a card? I said, no. Mm-hmm. I got very offended, and he said, well, how about if I just talk to you tonight, if I come back tonight? What time do you get off work? So I told him. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, can you spare 10 minutes? And this time I had the car. We had one car between us in the household, and I had it. It was mine. And so I said, okay, I'll talk to you for 10 minutes, And then he came in early, first time ever, because the man is notoriously late.
Okay. That's something that we didn't know about Maurice White, and now we know.
And so I was very nervous. I was really, thinking, oh, my God, what did I do? Here I am, a married woman. Well, not necessarily happily married, but, still, I'm married. Mm-hmm. And so I walked outside after I got off work, and I didn't see him. But I saw this big old Buick Riviera. Mm-hmm. This, you have to remember, 1970, so it had to be a 70 or 69. So
right.
It was brand new.
Yeah.
And he had driven it out from Chicago to L.A. Because he knew absolutely that he was going to become a star.
That was one of my questions. So he knew from the very beginning.
Yes.
Did he have visions, or he knew it in his bones? Or
he
what
had
was
a vision, but he also drew it out on a legal pad. One of those yellow legal pads? Because he had showed me the drawing later. And it was stick figures, and there were 9 of them. And that's how many he had in his band. Mm-hmm. And he said this was a vision that he had.
Right.
And there were 9 original members. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I saw this big old car, and I thought, oh, my God, he's a pimp. And I thought, oh, goodness gracious, oh, dear. And he did not get out of the car to open it like I thought he would have, should have.
Yep.
But there are no shoulds in life.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
He then opened the door from the inside out And I peeked in. He said, "Get in."
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to hurt you. It's okay. It's cool. I said, okay, I know. Okay. So I got in, and then he reached over me to close the door. And when he touched me, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The electricity, the feelings, the energy, just from that touch was amazing.
Yeah. So it confirmed that you two were
had
something.
Yeah. There was definitely energy between the two
chemistry,
of us. Yes,
energy.
So much chemistry.
Right. So we only have 45 minutes. So and I've already heard this once.
Right.
And so I want to really use the most of our time. You had this instant connection, you had this chemistry, you had this, but it wasn't an easy relationship.
No.
Okay. So what was the best parts of your relationship, and what were the hardest parts?
The best parts, just being together. Taking rides down the coast, or taking a ride we had in the 80s, I believe, bought a home in Carmel Valley. So at the beginning, we would drive there. At the end, he had a private plane, and we flew up there. And so some of that was like the best. And I remember one time, Verdine, his brother,
Right.
we were all driving. He was in his own car, and we were in ours, and we were driving up the coast, and it got really foggy. And this is, to me, hysterical. I mean, Maurice and I would laugh at this afterwards, but Verdine turned on his windshield wipers to try and eliminate the fog. And we're looking at him behind, and I'm seeing him with the windshield wipers, and Maurice says, what the is he doing? Man, don't he know he can't get rid of fog with windshield wipers, And we just cracked up. It was funny. And just little things, just
ordinary things, not necessarily all the the stages. Did you travel with him when he
Sometimes,
toured? Sometimes.
Yes.
Did you like it?
I loved it because I got to see new places.
Okay.
But it was very short, very brief. We would sometimes just go from the hotel to the venue, and then from the venue back to the airport.
So when things were starting to roll, so he first signed with Warner Brothers.
He was not happy there, and Clive Davis saw them and invited them to go to the convention that he was very famous for. Once a year, he would have a great big convention, CB Columbia convention. And this time it was in London.
England.
London, England.
Okay.
Yes. And we went, and the band just blew everybody's mind. I think they played possibly the last day or the second to the last day. And Ramsey was also there because he was signed to Columbia. And so he was cheering Maurice on, which was really a very positive thing,
Yeah.
And Clive loved them, and then he, I believe, bought their contract
Out from
Warner
Brothers,
Brothers, and they started then with Columbia
Beautiful.
Records.
Beautiful. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who this beautiful redhead here is, it is Marilyn White, the muse of Maurice White, 46-year relationship with the man behind Earth, Wind, and Fire, and she's the water underneath.
The air.
The air. Sorry, I always say water. I'm the water. You're the air.
You're the fire, girl. Leo's the fire.
Oh, okay. But my name means of the water. Marissa means of the
Oh,
water.
okay.
Yeah, so I call myself
That's
the water.
okay.
Okay. So anyways, you are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa and my guest today is Marilyn White, and she's recounting some of the behind the scenes, maybe things that we don't really know about Maurice White. And the one thing that we didn't know is he had a vision around this. And I think earlier we flashed up a picture of the original band, the one picture that I took at your home, which was kind of cool. He had that vision. He drew that figure in the sand. So as he was sort of climbing that ladder of success, was he impatient? Was he, enjoying the journey and the destination because he knew that he wanted what he wanted? Did he feel that he had attained that at any time? Did you feel was he happy? I mean, was he happy and proud and fulfilled?
I think that he was certainly not complacent. Yes, he was happy, but the extra stuff that it brought, which was nice, he appreciated. But he never, for a moment, he let it go to his head. For a moment, he did let it go to his head, and would say certain things that I thought, "What? Come on now, get back down to earth."
Like what?
I don't think we can say it over the air.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
They can read it in our book.
That's it. Yes, they can read it in our book. Absolutely.
We'll because
a little teaser there.
I don't think that I should say.
Okay. Thank you for saving me video editing dollars. Right,
absolutely.
Right. So, so what are some of the worst times? Finish that question I asked before. Some of the best times or the worst times?
Some of the worst times. Okay. Probably the worst time, it just came into my head right now when you said, was when he came home smelling like another woman. That was the worst. That wasn't cool.
No.
Other than that.
Now, you were living together for 8 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what happened?
That's what happened.
Oh, that's... I just set you up by accident, right? That's we haven't gotten that part.
Girl,
in
that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, no, I can't do this. It was... That's when he thought that he could do no wrong. He could do anything he wanted and still have it all. And I wasn't playing that anymore.
Right.
And I tried to because of his... they'll have to read this in the book too. But the way he was raised, I wanted to show him that no matter what, I was never going to leave him. It was cool. That I loved him unconditionally.
So,
but then after that, no. Just
now you were pregnant at the time with his son.
Not at that moment.
Okay, but soon after. Soon after that.
After I moved out.
Okay.
After I moved out, I got pregnant. He invited me to go on the road with him for New Year's Eve. And it was in Lexington, Kentucky. And didn't get to see any horses, though. But
I'm going to refrain from even going there. Go ahead.
Okay. So we were there, and it was New Year's Eve, and they did a fantastic show, as Earth, Wind, and Fire does. Man,
Yes.
they're true showmen.
Greatest showman.
They are. They
Greatest
really are.
showman. Yeah.
Anyway, so everybody was going downstairs to eat or to go to the party that they were having for them. And I'm waiting for Maurice and waiting for Maurice and waiting for Maurice, and finally said, F it. And changed clothes, went down and, with people, and then came back up, and there he was. And we talked, and he said, oh, I had a phone call I had to make, and so forth and so on. And I got pregnant.
Through the phone. No, I'm just kidding.
In the
yes,
room.
Yes, in the room. Got it.
And as things were going on, I thought, my God, this is the first time I didn't think about it. And that's when it happened.
And he good dad? He was a good dad?
He was never around.
Ah.
He was on the road all the time. I think because he never had a dad, it was difficult for him to...
No role model.
Yeah, like, what do I do now? He was even afraid to pick him up at one time. I said, you're not going to break him.
Right,
You know?
right.
I said, here, hold
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And he did. And he said, look, he's grabbing onto my finger. And it was that was also a very beautiful
There's a beautiful
time.
picture of that that I put, I think, hopefully I have that. There it is.
What?
Yeah,
Where?
with the baby.
Oh.
With the baby.
Oh.
And
I think...
Oh, no, that's
No.
when he's older with his baby. So then after...
No, baby, because Cabran, he wasn't... He brought Cabran's daughter in. He did. He had passed. And soon after he had passed, I just lost my lust for life, shall we say. And I'm sitting in my chair and thinking, okay, you can take me because I don't have anything else. That's it. I'm done. And I missed him so much, so much. I had no idea it was going to be like that, you know, because at this point we were separated, but not really, you know,
You were never
really
done. You were never done.
Never done.
So for 46 years, you had a relationship with a man that you were 28 when you met him, okay?
Yep.
So he was 28.
He was 28 with the same
You were
age.
both married at the time,
Yes.
but very, very unhappy.
Yep.
And then you knew you were together, but you couldn't be together all the time.
Exactly.
Right? And then when did he get Parkinson's?
He probably
diagnosed?
had it since the 80s, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
But
had
he
it for a
still
long time.
performed.
Yes, because diet is so important. And that has always been my
Yes.
thing, shall we say. He met me in a health food store. I am now studying nutrition to become a nutritionist.
Yeah.
And basically a plant-based diet saved me from, saved my life because I had colon cancer.
Okay.
And once I changed my diet, I saved myself, so to speak. And man,
So his diet was not...
his diet was good at that time. But however, he said when he went on the road, it was difficult for
Right,
him.
to have a good diet.
Yeah, because there's so many little cities that you don't know of in the Midwest and so
Right,
forth.
right.
That don't have health food stores that are that at that time that when he was still traveling
Right.
were not conscious. I have a feeling that today more and more people are conscious.
Absolutely.
So in the little cities, they'll be having an avocado sandwich.
Right, right,
you
right.
know?
Right.
And or as they call it now, avocado toast.
Right. My daughter's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, avocado on a piece of toast. What anyway. So anyway, he kept his diet in check, and because of that, I believe, he kept the Parkinson's at bay.
At bay. Okay.
But he needed to express himself. He would hold.
Right. Oops, sorry. Somebody, I just wanted to see if anybody commented.
Oh, okay.
And Thomas Dreyer gave a clap or a wave.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So they're watching. Peace in, peace out, Thomas.
Peace.
So his Parkinson's from the 80s. So he really lived with it and could sort of hide it on stage.
Oh yeah, because
right?
it was he did he and it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't
Until
it started getting bad. Until he wasn't as careful. Should I say with his? He started eating shit. Stuff that that he shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one time I went into the refrigerator when he really started getting bad, and I saw a package of bologna in there.
Yeah.
And I thought, what
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, Elle brought it. Elle was his woman friend, and he called her his nurse because she would try and take care of him. And anyway, white bread and bologna, not a good match. No.
So he transitioned 2 years ago, so 2016. So would you say the last 6 years? I know the last part of his life he got closer to his son.
Right.
Yes. And so that's, let's say, the last 5 years,
Well,
would you say? Or
probably, let's see,
he stopped. When did he stop performing?
Gosh, he stopped performing. I can't remember. But
okay.
Probably, I don't remember.
Well, we'll look it up for the book.
Yeah, okay.
But it is time. I'm getting the signal to stop the show for a second and thank the sponsors who make this show possible. If you'd like to be one of those sponsors, please do contact me for very affordable rates so this show can stay on. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out. World peace through inner peace.
No way! I'm so cool. I'm so hot. I'm so hungry. I'm so full.
Did that complaining sound familiar to you? Hi, I'm Dr. Marissa, your cheerleader for hope and happiness 88% of the time. And they also call me the Asian Oprah. Well, I have a perfect app for you if you want to lose negative weight and stop complaining. Yes, the 21-day Fast from Complaining with Dr. Marissa app is now available. Every day you'll get a balanced tip that keeps you from complaining, as well as some sound effects. If you do complain and you press a button, it will give you a sound to keep you from complaining. And if you make it the entire day without complaining, you'll get a nice warm applause. And there's a YouTube link also to help you not complain. And then at the end of the 21 days, because it takes 21 days to create a good habit, you'll get an overall score as well as a way to post your triumph with your friends and family on Facebook. So don't complain, have fun, and remember it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
Peace in, peace out.
One in 4 Americans are currently on anti-anxiety and anti-depression medication, and many are still depressed and anxious, and now have side effects on top of it. If you're ready to shovel out the shiitake of past pain and future fear and put it back as fertilizer to grow the beauty that you are, order Dr. Marissa's newest book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are, coming out August 7th to bookstore near you, and you will never hate yourself the same way again. And we are back. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon, broadcasting out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California, and then every Thursday and Saturday on my syndicated CNBC News Radio channel, KCAA AM 1050, FM 102.3, and FM 106.5, and everywhere on iHeartRadio. And today's special guest is the air behind. No, is it the air behind it? It is the air. You are. Of Earth, Wind, and Fire. The muse of Maurice White, who loved him and misses him forever. 46 years. So what's something about Maurice that we probably don't know?
He had a very sly sense of humor. It's hard to, but he would say things off the wall. Okay, I remember one time we were at. We always had Christmas at my house. The whole family came over. Verdine and Shelley and Margie.
Who's Shelley?
Shelley is Verdine's wife.
Okay, and Margie?
Margie is Verdine's and Maurice's sister.
Okay.
And her husband, Ron, and her beautiful daughter, Alex.
Okay.
My son, and who, ever was his friend at the time. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time we did I like to play games, you know, to make it after dinner and make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we were playing this game. Oh gosh, what's it called?
Twister?
No, not Twister. No, sitting down. It's like you write down 5 names of people. Celebrity. That's what
okay.
it is. Celebrity.
Yeah.
I used to think my nephew made that up, but it wasn't his game.
All right.
Anyway, and so one of the names that was given was Rudy Valley, and we're thinking, Maurice said that. Rudy Valley, are you? He said, yeah, man, I just thought about him, and I thought, well, you know, he did some songs. And I thought,
Out of the blue.
and no one, you know, I knew some, and then Cabron's friend knew one or two, and said, oh, that's a Rudy Valley, you know, thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like off the wall kind of stuff.
Out of the
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
he did not. This is something that I learned that I don't think a lot of people know. And we talked about in the book about the drugs at the beginning.
No.
He actually did no drugs.
No drugs.
No drugs.
No drug. Didn't allow them. And if he found out that any of the band members were doing drugs, goodbye.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in that day and age,
Yeah.
it was so normal.
Because his message was so important. His message was always keep your head to the sky. His message was that you are God. It's just what we know, what we
Right.
practice
Right.
as, you know,
Spiritual beings.
exactly. And
So he had
no-
that inside of him.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Did he grow up religious?
His grandmother took him, who raised him. Actually, she wasn't a grand. We'll get into that also in the book. But took him. She went to the church where it's a joyful noise. Praise God, joyful noise, and the singing and the music was
So that
instilled
was-
in him.
Got it. So
At
that
a
at
very young
early
age, yeah.
Beautiful.
And then he wanted to. He loved the costumes of the band. You know, when the bands played the drum major. You know, the big hat and playing of the drums. And he bought his own set of drums, I believe, when he was something like 12 years old. And put it down like maybe a couple dollars every week, you know. And when, you know, because he always worked. So he was of that, and that's what drew me to him as well. His positive attitude of always knowing what he was going to do, never letting anything stop, and that it was a very natural, normal, beautiful thing to work and to have purpose. He always had a life purpose. And that was to basically, and that brought my feeling, because that's how I felt.
Right.
And that's why I started working at the health food
store,
so
yeah.
I could learn.
Right. Right. Now he never officially got married. Now there was
You mean
there
to
was
me?
some to you. He asked you though.
Yes.
So, and why did you say no?
I said no because at the time I was pregnant. And I never wanted to, honestly,
Yeah.
I never wanted him to ever throw up in my face. You know, the only reason, you know, I married you is because you was pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
never did I ever. And I wasn't in love with marriage. I was not a happy wife.
Right. You didn't have
know?
a great first experience.
No.
Yeah.
So I liked, and I felt like it's really not necessary. If you're with someone, you love someone, the only reason it's necessary is for legal issues. And there was a time when my son really wanted us to get married because everybody else was married, you know. Why isn't his mom and dad, you know? And I just told him, you know, baby, Daddy and Mommy love each other, but it's not necessary to be married. I said, I was already married. I'm not,
Right.
It's cool not to be. It's all right.
Yeah.
Because you pledge your love.
Right. Right.
And we pledged our love.
And I, just to set the record straight, since we started the story at the beginning and then I cut her off and now we're at the other end, you knew there was something and there was a strong attraction, but it wasn't until you left Sal that you actually became, good with, right?
Good with Maurice?
Yes. I'm trying to make you, I'm trying to put you, just for anybody religious. So, I mean, you didn't cheat on your husband.
Yeah, I did. Come on. Let's be real.
Wait a minute. That's not what you told me in the...
No, I said I didn't. I didn't like it. I said I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I said I didn't like the feeling that I had. And I told you the first time we were together, man, my body, I was so tight up. I mean, like with guilt.
Yeah.
That I got a cramp everywhere in my body. It like, it's like saying, okay, you shouldn't be doing this in my head.
Right. So you didn't enjoy it.
I didn't know.
Okay.
But I loved that. I loved that we made love.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved it. It wasn't great. It wasn't, fantastic. I shouldn't be saying all this. Can we cut that part out?
Actually, no, we can't.
Oh, gee whiz. Anyway, but I didn't feel good about being with him and being married. Let's say that.
Yeah.
It wasn't right. So I had to leave.
Right.
And I was hoping for one of our fights, for one of Sal and I.
Right. Right.
And I was really hoping for one of the fights, but no, he was lying down on the couch smoking some weed, and I thought, I don't want this anymore. I cannot do it. So I just packed a bag. I remember it was on a Sunday. I packed a bag and I said, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm leaving you.
Yeah.
And I went to my mom's, and
And then the rest of it you're going to have to read in the
book.
book.
Because the book is going to be...
You got just enough today. Hopefully it'll be out... It's going to be out in a year. It's my schedule that's holding this up. So we'll be perfectly honest here. But I'm very much looking forward to putting it on paper, and the life of a 46-year relationship with a man who brought so much joy to the world. How are you doing now? I know that when he passed, so much better. What brought you out of that?
My grandchild. He brought her in. As I was saying, I was ready to go, and he said, "Nope, let's." And I saw him. Y'all might think I'm a little crazy, but I saw him take her arm, and he said, "This is what you all need." Include his son was also very heartbroken, let's say, didn't have time to mourn. And his lady at the time was pregnant and was supposed to be delivering a month or two away. And he said, "You need her now." And I saw him pulling this child in. And I got up and I said, "Oh my goodness." I called my son. He said, "We're on our way to the hospital," and I said, "That's Daddy. He's bringing her in." "Yeah, right, Mom." But that's what brought me back, knowing that it's a cycle.
Yeah,
life and death, and when someone passes, someone comes back.
Yeah, I believe that. When my father transitioned, my younger one was 21 days old.
There you go.
So it's the same thing. Circle of life.
And
we are out of time. So I need to ask you my last question that I always ask my guests, which is, what are you most grateful for?
God.
Yeah.
I am most grateful for the presence of God within me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Marilyn White, on my show. Thank you for coming and
thank you for having me.
Sharing Maurice with us.
Oh my God. It's not
Yes.
enough. Not enough.
Yes.
Phenomenal man.
Yes. Beautiful. And you'll just have to keep tuned to follow the process of this book writing. And we are at the end of the show, where I welcome you to my Balance Bar and share with you all the places that you can intersect with more balance. Starting with, you heard the promo, 21-day fast from complaining. Today is day 12, and the balance tip for today comes straight from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. How do you not complain? He says, if there's a problem and there's a solution, there's nothing to complain or worry about. And if there's a problem and there's no solution, then there's still nothing to worry or complain about. So don't complain today. If you can go 21 days consecutively without complaining, please do contact me. Register on forbalance.org and you will get a prize. And as per promise, every week from now until the book is published, August 7th, I give you a little bit from the book. So the balance tool today is from chapter 4, Out of Heartbreak into Love. I used to say that dating was like the wide world of sports opener, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. So see if you can relate to any of these statements. I hate dating. All the good ones are gone. People lie on their profiles. I've had the love of my life and I'm good. I can't imagine meeting anyone at my age who would rock my boat. I love myself enough that I really don't need anyone anymore. I've had the worst experiences dating. Is there a shortcut? If you're not excited about dating based on your experiences, I have only one question. Was it before or after getting to love yourself? That is one of the most important things before you actually put yourself out there. So replace any of those BS belief systems with, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Now with the internet, I can meet hundreds of more candidates for my next chapter in my book of romance. I learn something from every relationship, whether it lasts a lifetime or a year. I'm excited to turn the page to see what's next in my book of romance. So there's a little excerpt. It is coming out August 7th. Please do not pre-order. I know I've been telling you that, but I would like you to help me between August 7th and August 14th. Purchase 8 Ways to Happiness from wherever you are so that you can put me on the New York Times bestseller list. So mark that on your calendar. It's specifically a book for the 1 in 4 Americans who are currently on anti-anxiety, anti-depression medication, still anxious and depressed, and now have side effects on top of it. So it is for you, an inside out. And once you finish reading it, you will never hate yourself the same way again. New York publisher Morgan James, so grateful for this entire process and look forward to splattering more hope and happiness yet through another avenue, this book. Also, thanks to pre-recording, I am going to bring you 3 shows. In fact, I may be even calling in from Europe because I'm taking my daughter to Europe this Saturday for her graduation gift. And after that, I've just gotten invited to be the keynote speaker on a cruise to Italy, France, and Spain. I haven't gotten a chance to tell you, and I couldn't pass it up. So I'm actually going to be on the road for 36 days. I'm going to be like Maurice, and then also go and teach at CEO Space International, largest university for entrepreneurs, that last week, July the 16th through the 21st. So go to my website if you're interested, if you're an entrepreneur and want to sign up for that. I'm going to be teaching a class called Mind Games, calling the BS belief systems that help and hurt the entrepreneur. As well, I'm going to be on this cruise with the Women of Global Change who help set up safe houses for women rescued from sex trafficking, as well as modernizing schools in Jamaica and different parts of the world. Great group, and I get to do that work. So I'm going to have Jill Lublin, coming best-selling author and queen of networking, then followed by Karen Mills Austin on the Agape Board of Directors with her 10 Principles of Life Worth Living, and then Sexual Healing the last week with Jonathan Robinson with how to remedy all the conflict that Trump is bringing into the bedroom. So make sure you keep it tuned to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. That's world peace through inner peace.
To take away the part of me